Welcome to another episode of the Godless Anti-Theist, presenting some godless truth so that you might see the abundant opportunity all around you to be good for goodness sake. A caller to the Atheist Experience was expressing her concern that when she went to this certain state to visit friends and they went out to a restaurant, that all the restaurants had sayings of God bless and all kinds of religious bullshit on the walls of these restaurants. And she was saying how I'm coming into this restaurant for the food, not to be going to church. And when you got the public coming into your place of business and you're assuming that all the patrons are Christian is kind of ridiculous. And she was wondering, I guess, why this was going on. And here's my view to my way of thinking. Christians, one of the things that Christians are afraid of, deathly afraid of it, is the fact that they might meet somebody who has a different opinion than they do, a different worldview, and that this person will feel comfortable and confident enough in public to express those views. And they want to make sure by decorating as many secular places, as many secular public places like restaurants, movie theaters, courthouses, schools, places where people gather. And they want to put their religion all around. They just want to shit all over the walls and shit all over the floor and shit all over the ceiling. They want their shit everywhere. You see? They want you to know that this place is dominated by their worldview, their superstition, their religion. And this kind of course, sets the tone and sends a message to an atheist or an agnostic or any kind of critical thinker that you better not open your mouth here, not around us, not in this town, not in this county, not in this state, not in this country. Because if you do, we're going to come down hard and perhaps violently onto you. That's what the message is. It's not out of love. It's not out of concern for humanity. They want the cross everywhere. They want the 10 Commandments everywhere, on every wall of every building. Because they want to let you know that they dominate. And you better shut the fuck up if you have a different opinion. So that's why when you even go into restaurants and there's all kinds of Christian bullshit on the walls. And I once went to a restaurant and the waitress left on the tip a Christian message, God bless you. Now she's assuming that everyone that she's waiting on is a Christian. I'm an atheist, so I didn't leave her a tip. If she wants to be preaching to people, then I'm not going to pay her to hear preaching that I'm not interested in hearing. If she'd had said, have a nice day, I would have left her my usual 20% tip. Me and my wife, we leave 20% tips on our restaurant outings because we have family members who are waiters and waitresses, and we know that they live on their tips. It's not really right that they have to live on their tips. And when you leave just $1 and they've been working their ass off bringing you tea bringing you your food, checking on you, making sure everything's okay, filling up your water, filling up your tea. That's hard work. And so, uh, like I say, we have family members who are in that profession, so we know how hard it is for them to make it because a lot of people don't leave enough tip. So we always leave 20% regardless of what the tip is. We just add 20% to it. Why businesses don't pay their restaurant personnel, especially their waiters and waitresses, good money uh, is beyond me. And I think we all know that when you look at a price, on a menu, that's not the real price because you're going to leave a tip. Most people leave a tip. Now, of course, the cheapskate can just leave a quarter or 50 cents or $1 on a $100 tab, and you've had uh, 6 or 7 people at the table, and your waitress has been checking on you, showing you the best service they can. But to go into a restaurant, which is supposed to be welcoming or should be welcoming everyone to their restaurant, Buddhists, blacks, whites, you know, Christians, Muslims, Buddhists, whatever. I mean, you go in and you pay your money, and the money should be accepted. And to go into a restaurant and have it assaulting your senses with a worldview, it's like having a sign up, having a Christian cross or a Christian scripture on the wall. It's like having a Christian sign that says war is peace, slavery is. you know. So it's just really insulting to anyone with a brain. And of course, they're playing a numbers game here, and they know that maybe 80% of the Christians aren't really Christians, but they also know that they've been taught to shut the fuck up. So they can get away with this bullshit of putting Christianity on their public restaurants where they're supposed to be welcoming the public into their restaurant. If you have in the United States, if you have a Federal Reserve note, then they're supposed to let you in as long as you can afford to pay for the meal. You don't sign something they don't say table for 4. Oh, and by the way, are you Christian? Because we're not going to seat you if you're not Christian. They don't say that. But, it seems like having Christian shit on their public service wall is saying that. And I encourage you, if you, to don't patronize places that are obviously insulting your intelligence. And this waitress that left us a little smiley face with God bless you on it, we just didn't leave a tip. Now, I don't leave less. I either leave the 20% or I don't leave anything, because we were told by our relatives that are in the business as waitresses and waiters that if you leave a tip, you're unhappy with the service that you get, and you leave a tip, like let's say it's a 5 or 6 people at a table, and the bill is $100. Let's say you go into a fine steak restaurant or something, but the bill is $100, and you're unhappy with the service, so you leave $1. That lets the waiter or waitress who gave you poor service tell the other waitresses and waiters, you're just cheap. Oh, that group there, they're just cheap. They only left me $1. But if you leave no tip at all, that sends the message that you weren't happy with the service. So we always leave 20% or we leave nothing to send a message that we are unhappy for the service. Uh, but when you go to a restaurant, you're there, or you should be there for the food. And I'm not there to have my bill uh, added to with God bless you. I mean, I don't even like the have a nice day bullshit. I think the bill should be left alone. Just leave the bill. And don't say, you can say have a good evening, have a nice day, such a cliche. You can say have a good if it's you're eating breakfast somewhere and the waitress says as they hand you the check, have a good morning, or if it's noon, have a good uh, day, and then maybe in the evening have a good evening and kind of personalize it. Uh, that's fine, but to say God bless you or praise Allah, that's what you need to think of it as. Is that when you say, well, you should let God bless you alone. You shouldn't be insulted by that. Well, think about it as Allah be praised, or may Allah be with you. Would you appreciate that message being foisted on you simply because you chose that restaurant to have a meal at, and you happen to sit down in the section that this Muslim waiter or waitress was uh, waiting on that day? Well, I don't want to be assaulted by the Christian waiter or waitress just because I have to sit down in their section, and now they can use that opportunity to preach to me through my bill. Just leave it secular. It's a secular thing. I didn't come in to be preached to about Allah. I didn't come in to be preached to about Yahweh. I didn't come in to be preached to about Jehovah. I didn't come in to be preached to about Buddha. I came in to have a meal. And I can see if they saw you, let's say you're a Christian family, before you eat, you bow your head and pray, which you're not supposed to do in public, but, I could see them leave a Christian family, or if you, if a waitress or waiter is waiting on a table and the people at the table are all wearing, or most of them are wearing a cross or something, I could see leaving the message, God bless you, but to leave a message just to everyone and to preach to everyone that comes into your section that day is insulting people's intelligence. It's not offending me. It doesn't offend me that you're saying, God bless you. You're insulting my intelligence that you think I'm an idiot and that I believe in something that hasn't been proven. I'm intelligent. I demand verifiable evidence. Because if you don't require evidence, it's all you require is faith. What is there that you don't believe in? What you don't have any basis not to believe it in anything. So Allah is God, Jehovah is God, Yahweh is God, Buddha is God. Every God claim is valid because you do not have any proof that Allah is not God. Till next time, this has been the Godless Anti-Theist. Oh, and just as a side note, can you imagine going into a restaurant and hearing this podcast being played over the speakers of the restaurant? I mean, see how insulting that is to you? I know Christians would probably be offended, but it's really insulting to your intelligence that you're forced to listen to a podcast that you do not necessarily want to hear, or that you wouldn't hear or listen to on your own. And that's what these bullshit about all this Christian shit on the walls, and a waitress that signs the check, God bless you. It's not benign. It is an assault on people. This has been the Godless and Atheist.